And we start with new developments tonight as a neighborhood responds to multiple shootings on their doorsteps, one of them deadly.
The latest gunfire erupted near Dawson Park in the middle of the day. And this afternoon, leaders from one community group stood at the site of so much violence to call for changes, and quick. Alma McCarty's back on the story for us tonight. And Alma, we've reported on an arrest in these shootings already. Walk us through what the No Hate Zone group now wants to see from city leaders.
Well, yes, this is a community racial justice group, and several people got up to speak today, clearly fed up and frustrated with the gun violence that is happening within this community. They did point out that this is nothing new. This has been happening. It's been a problem, but now is the time to act, not just talk about possible solutions. There's a lot of work, they say, that needs to be done on many levels to address gun violence. Some of the proposals this afternoon included directing millions of dollars in funding specifically to the Black community in Portland, and forming task forces or committees to stop the gun violence, but including everyone in those solutions.
And I want to celebrate life. I want to celebrate young men graduating. I want to celebrate young men reaching their milestones. I'm tired of having a celebration of life after somebody passed away. So I say to the city, if you're going to do something, when you do something, you make sure that it affects the people that are truly affected by this stuff.
Outside the park, in the place where Mark Johnson was shot and killed on March 1st, there is now a memorial to honor his life. Portland police identified and charged the suspect for his murder, Joseph Banks. Banks was also charged with 2 counts of attempted murder for 2 shootings that happened just the day before. Live in North Portland, Alma McCarty, KGW News.
You can feel the group's pain and their need for urgency. Thank you, Alma.
Well, to a break-in at a downtown Portland art gallery that has stunned artists about to showcase their work. Now, organizers say the thieves stole some of the art, and much of what they left behind, they vandalized. Mike Benner has more on the impact.
For the entire month of March, this space near Southwest 10th and Oak was slated to showcase the work of Taravat Tolopasand, among other artists. But as you can see, the space is empty.
I'm just feeling a great loss. It's very traumatic.
Taravat says on the night of March 1st, she and another artist installed all of their work ahead of the start of the month-long exhibit. The next morning, Taravat woke up to a text.
The owner of Sizzle Pie and another resident in the building had seen 3 people sleeping in the space, and it looked just destroyed. So they called the police.
Officers tell us they arrested 1 person on a warrant, but the damage had already been done, as illustrated in this video. Taravat says the ILY2 gallery was vandalized, lights smashed, walls spray painted. The place reeked of meth and cigarette smoke, she says. But worst of all, most of the artwork was damaged or gone altogether.
I'm really devastated and saddened by it. It's, as an artist over 20 years, I've never, ever had this experience in any other gallery space, nationally or internationally, and none of my artist friends have ever had anything like this happen before.
And to think it happened to an exhibit titled Take Care. As Taravat explains, works of art centered around protection and reciprocity.
What happened is exact opposite of our intentions for the show.
Taravat Tolopasand tells me that well in advance of this exhibit, she reached out to collectors and friends, so a lot of this artwork had already been tapped to be sold. Now that it's gone or damaged, that is a huge loss. A GoFundMe has been launched to help recoup some of those losses. You'll find a link to that fundraiser on our website, kgw.com. Reporting in downtown Portland, I'm Mike Benner for KGW News.
We turn now to the devastating war in Ukraine. Tonight, the UN estimates 2 million people have fled their homes since Russian troops first invaded. Ukraine is accusing Russia of bombing a maternity and children's hospital during a ceasefire designed to let civilians escape. President Volodymyr Zelensky calling it an atrocity. Russian President Vladimir Putin shows no sign of backing down, even though Ukraine's foreign ministry estimates 12,000 Russian troops have died in battle.
You know, troubling developments there that could constitute a war crime, potentially. One of many joining humanitarian efforts in his home country, a Vancouver man who flew out of PDX headed straight for Europe. Now, his name is Sergei Koronev. Journalist Sergio Olmos captured the moments last week as Koronev walked in saying farewell to his daughters, to his extended family. Now, he and his ex-wife Valentina have long been dedicated to helping Ukraine. She talked to our Galen Etlin today.
Why was it important for him to go to war in Ukraine?
He knows people who stay in Ukraine. His mother stay in Kiev, and many friends stay in Kiev who need our help.
And they need help. Koronev hopes to get loved ones to safety, but also to continue a family legacy. Now, since 2014, he and Valentina have helped support Ukrainian families of lost soldiers by helping build places for them to live. In the past, that's included donated construction materials, this time thousands of dollars in donations.
Meanwhile, the ripple effects of this conflict know no bounds. One impact, soaring gas prices here at home. The cost of fuel set new records nationwide and here in Oregon and Washington. Let's dig into that part of the story with Maggie Vespa. She's live in Southwest Portland for us. Maggie.
Yeah, Laurel, check out this price behind me. It's hard to believe, $5.15 for a gallon of regular gasoline. And as you know, we've been talking about this in our newsroom for the second straight day. Prices have been soaring across the U.S., especially up and down the West Coast, setting today, again, another new record, second day in a row. In fact, we have some info here from AAA. I want to show you that graphic. According to AAA, the national average for a gallon of regular is actually now $4.25. Oregon's average today is a record high $4.66. That's the fourth highest in the country behind California, Nevada, and Hawaii. And of course, it shatters Oregon's longtime record, $4.29. That was set in 2008. Today, drivers we talked to were really feeling this, and AAA told us there's no telling how long this will last.
Yes, I have noticed the price of gas is getting outrageous.
Getting outrageous?
Yes, outrageous. I've never seen it this high before.
Usually when we see price spikes like this, they can be the result of something like a hurricane. It's relatively easy to make educated guesses about when things might come back online. In this case, we're talking about a war in Europe, and there are just no answers.
So one industry already feeling the pain, delivery and rideshare drivers. Bloomberg News reporting the rising cost of gas is poised to eat up as much as 60% of the take-home pay for Uber and Lyft drivers, because both apps right now, at least in part, they're hesitating to raise rates on riders, so drivers just kind of have to eat that profit loss. We do want to note, everyone we talked to today said with what we're seeing coming out of Ukraine, the devastation there, it is tough to talk sort of too much about pain at the pump. But again, guys, back there in the studio, you know, if you do want to find the cheapest gas in your area, there are apps that can help, including Gas Buddy and Gas Guru.
Keeping it in perspective for us, really important tonight. Maggie Vespa, thank you for that. Well, new tonight, State Senator Dallas Hurd is stepping down as chair of the Oregon Republican Party. He says it's because of, quote, evil and wickedness within the party. Those are his words. So Hurd wrote a letter resigning as of this Friday. He says, quote, communist psychological warfare tactics, end quote, are being used daily in the GOP, and that his physical and spiritual health can no longer survive. He points to a laundry list here, really: slander, gossip, conspiracies, sabotage, lies, and hatred. Wow. Okay. However, he says he will still hang on to his seat in the legislature. For context here, Hurd is a far-right Republican. He's protested mask mandates and COVID restrictions, and he encouraged those who broke into the Oregon Capitol in December 2020 and the U.S. Capitol a month later. He became chair of the state GOP last year after the former chair quit.
Well, this is really exciting news. It's being described as the Super Bowl of track and field events, and it's coming to Oregon this summer. Some of the world's best track and field athletes will be in Eugene, competing at the World Athletics Championships. Joe Ranieri has more on what this will mean for not just Eugene, but the whole state, too.
This summer, Tracktown USA is going to turn into Track World in Eugene.
This event has already changed the face of Eugene and, of course, Hayward Field.
For the first time, the World Athletics Championships are going to be held at Hayward Field on the University of Oregon campus. It's been hosted in London, Paris, Rome, and now it'll be in our own backyard. On a Zoom call, I spoke with Oregon Governor Kate Brown, who said this is going to put Oregon on the world stage.
This is truly a time for Oregon to shine. We can't wait to show off our amazing food scene, our small businesses, agricultural products, and outdoor adventures.
This 10-day event is going to bring 2,000 athletes from 200 different countries together. Tack on visitors, there will be more than 200,000 people visiting the state.
In terms of the economic opportunities, it won't just impact Eugene, it will be the entire state of Oregon.
How much money could get pumped into the local economy?
You look at the spending by visitors, and the event would actually wind up totaling $138 million with the total output. So you look at all the goods, all the services that are being produced.
It won't be just people watching in the stands either. There's going to be 6,500 hours of live television being broadcast during the championships.
The event will be seen by somewhere close to 1 billion people globally, and that's comparable to the FIFA World Cup final and nearly 10 times the numbers that watch your Super Bowl.
A first-time event for Oregon that will hopefully not be the last. Joe Ranieri, KGW News.